Jai Guruji. We met, or rather, we reached Guruji in the year 1998, in December. And like most other people reach Guruji when they have problems, we also had a problem. That problem got us to Guruji. Our second daughter, and I think you have heard it, but I'll repeat it in short. Our second daughter had a severe asthma problem, and it was proving to be incurable. And we were very concerned about her because, while she was with us and we were looking after her, we could quickly rush her to hospital and save her, because quite a few times she came almost losing her life. So now we were getting concerned because she had to go to college, and we were worried as to what will happen there. So anyway, this was 2 or 3 years before she went to college. We were vacationing in India. I was posted in Singapore at that time. And we went to Mysore city in Karnataka. And she had a severe asthma attack, very severe asthma attack. And we again thought we'll lose her, but fortunately, with blessings of Guruji, although we didn't know Guruji at that time, she made it. And after that, we came to Delhi to return to Singapore. And we had a 2-day stay in Delhi. 4 or 5 days stay in Delhi. And we visited our uncle, my Chachaji. And he had known about our problem. So my Chachaji told me that, said, अगर आस्था हो तो गुरुजी के यहाँ ले चलता हूँ, गुरुजी की कृपा होगी तो बेटी ठीक हो जाएगी. So what he was saying, basically, if we had faith, he'll take us to Guruji. And if Guruji is gracious, she'll be cured. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I didn't know anything about Guruji. He had never told me anything about Guruji. But I was so desperate to do whatever it took to get the daughter treated that I immediately agreed. So he asked us to come that afternoon, and he said he'll take us to Guruji. So we went to Guruji, and I didn't ask him anything about Guruji, and he didn't say anything about Guruji on the way. It was probably an hour-long journey in the car. And we reached Empire State, where Guruji was at that time. After we parked the car, he got out. He just told me, follow the drill. Basically that, I had to just copy him. So I walked behind him, and we entered the hall where Guruji used to sit in Empire State. It was not a very large hall. There must have been 100, 150 people. So it was pretty crowded. And it was definitely not what I expected. I soch raha tha ki there will be very peaceful environment, and maybe a old Swamiji in white or Gerua Vastra will be sitting there. And what I saw was a dashing young man, very colorfully dressed, surrounded by lots of people with very loud music blaring. So I didn't know what to make out of that. Anyway, we went there. So I followed my Chachaji. Chacha did and as soon as I touched Guruji's feet, Guruji immediately said, Ashok, aa gaya. And Ashok is the name that he addressed me. So I assumed that, my Chachaji must have told him, that we are coming and my name is Ashok. Later on, I was to learn that no, Guruji didn't need any introduction, and he knew everyone who was coming. Of course, they were all coming by his blessings, with his wish. So anyway, then he asked us to sit there, but Usha couldn't contain herself when she started talking about Neetu, our daughter, and her problem. Guruji just raised his hand. He said, "Nahi, sab malum hai, baith jao." So we sat down. A little later, Guruji asked us to come and asked us to bring Neetu. Neetu was with us. And when we approached Guruji, when we sat next to him, Guruji raised his hand and he said, Kalyan Kita. That's all. And then he didn't say anything. We didn't say much either. And later on, we sat down. And our Chachaji was sitting separately because it was a crowded place. And we were all sitting wherever we could find a place. So we were all separate. Later on, when we had an opportunity, at that time, Guruji used to give prasad. And after prasad, you got up and you went outside and washed hands and came back. So during that period, Chachaji asked me, what did Guruji say? I said, Guruji said, Kalyan Kita. So Chachaji said, no, she's fine now. She's been cured. So I said, really? Chatterjee said, yeah, she's cured. At that time, I didn't believe it. I said, how can somebody be cured with just the words Kalyan Kitta, coming out of his mouth? But, she was cured. She never had any problem. And I must confess that although I was doubting whether she'll be cured, our daughter, she was confident that she was at a place where she'll be cured. So that's how we got to know Guruji, got to know his greatness, and something else happened very interesting at that time. I shared with you that, I was very puzzled by, what was happening there. The environment was very different than I expected. And I, of course, didn't know anything about Guruji. And when we got there, it was crowded. We all sat separately. And a gentleman came and sat next to me. I don't know how he made space, but, he sat next to me. And he started talking. He started talking in Hindi. So I was very much comfortable. Suddenly somebody was talking in Hindi because I don't speak Punjabi. And then he said his name is Major Gyan Singh. And he's been around Guruji for 17 years. And wherever Guruji goes, he gets posted there. Guruji gets him posted so he could be around Guruji. And then he said he was with Rajput regiment. So I was feeling very comfortable. The gentleman was speaking in Hindi. And he was a Rajput. We are Rajputs. Lots of my, family members are in army too. So, and then he asked me, do you know anything about Guruji? So I said, no, I don't know anything about Guruji. So he said, let me tell you. And he started just talking about Guruji. And he didn't say anything that was extraordinary or that you would not expect. He just said things like, Guruji knows everything. So you don't have to tell him anything. It doesn't matter where you sit. That's not important. You're always close to Guruji. If Guruji, wants you to be close to him. Guruji knows exactly what's going on in your mind. Guruji is all powerful. He just kept very simple things. And he kept saying that. And those were simple things, but to my ears, they were like the most beautiful music. And I just don't know why. I absolutely loved listening. I was totally mesmerized. So, we were there for about 3 hours possibly, with some breaks, for prasad and getting out. And he kept talking about Guruji just like that, very simple things, but it was so beautiful. I just didn't want it to stop. That was 28th of December, 1998. So we went back again on 29th December and 30th December. And on all those days, the place was very crowded. We could not sit together. But somehow this gentleman always sat next to me. I don't know how it happened. And he will just talk about Guruji. So it went on for 3 days. That musical orchestra or symphony or whatever you want to call that. And it was so beautiful. I don't know how to describe it. There was nothing extraordinary. It was very simple, but it was so beautiful to listen to him. I was just absolutely, jaise Hindi mein kehte hain, mantramugdh, just absolutely enjoying it. So anyway, on 30th December, he said that, we should come and celebrate Guruji's birthday, New Year's Eve with Guruji next day. But I had some other plans, so I didn't come, and that was a terrible mistake. I should have gone. So anyway, those were 3 beautiful days there. Our daughter was treated. Major Gyan Singh told me all I needed to know about Guruji, and I was very happy. And then I assumed that after that Major Gyan Singh would be there anytime I go to see Guruji. And I started visiting Guruji every once in a while whenever I got the opportunity. I just felt so good that Guruji took care of my daughter. And just went to India whenever I could. India was part of my territory, so I could manage that anytime. And I expected to see Major Gyan Singh, but he was not to be found. So it went on and on. I thought I'll find him someday. But, I think a year or so went by and I didn't see Major Gyan Singh again. And he had told me that he's there all the time around Guruji. Then I became very curious. I didn't know anybody, but some people were very, conspicuous by their, doing seva there. So I started asking them, do you know many Major Gyan Singh? Nobody knew anything about Major Gyan Singh. And I never ran into Major Gyan Singh ever after that. I mean, so the lesson for me that I want to share with you is if you have a sincere desire to know about Guruji, you don't have to worry about it. Guruji will, help you learn about him. You don't have to, wonder, how you'll find out anything about Guruji. You'll just find, Guruji will teach you directly, indirectly, whatever. Then another interesting thing happened. The next time I went to Guruji after December of 1998, I was alone. And I figured, I'll just go to Empire State by myself. And I had the geography wrong. I thought Empire State was on Delhi Mehrauli Road. And actually, Empire State was on Delhi Gurgaon Road. So anyway, I told the taxi driver that I need to go to Delhi Mehrauli Road. I was staying at Imperial at Connaught Place area. So we went to Delhi Mehrauli Road, and we went from Delhi all the way to Mehrauli, and the Empire State was not to be found. And I figured I'm in the wrong place. I asked the driver to go back. And then I had a phone number for the place where Guruji used to be in Empire State. And I called that number. And somebody answered, and I told them that I was lost, how to get there. So they gave me very clear directions. So anyway, no problem getting to Empire State. So got there. And after the Sangat that day, I thought, I should thank the gentleman, who gave me such good, clear directions. So I asked people there, those who were doing seva, somebody picked up my phone when I called and gave me very good directions. I'd like to thank the gentleman. I asked two people, and both of them were very surprised. They said that we are under instructions from Guruji that any phone call that comes once the Sangat is going on is not to be accepted. So if he called, nobody would have picked it up. But somebody picked up the phone and somebody gave very clear directions. So the lesson for me that I want to share with you is, if you want to go to Guruji, I literally mean that if you want to reach out to Guruji, if you want to find him, if you have a sincere desire, then don't worry about it. He'll get you there. He'll figure out a way to help you to reach him. Then I want to come to another episode that happened in a year later in December of 1999. You all know about Bade Mandir, and Bade Mandir had been built, I think, around 98. But I didn't know anything about Bade Mandir. So December 98, again, I was in the Empire State sitting with my Chachaji. And Guruji let everybody else go, but there only about 10 or 12 of us were left around midnight. Then he said, we'll go to Bade Mandir. So I didn't know what he was talking about. So anyway, Chachaji said, no, we'll go in the car, his car. So we went there from Empire State to Bade Mandir. It was probably 30-40 minutes journey at that time. It was not a crowded place, pretty desolate actually. And all during that journey, my Chachaji was very, very perturbed. And what had happened that I didn't know about was an IAS officer who was very, very extremely corrupt had come, and she was, talking to Guruji and, pressing his legs. And my Chachaji was saying that this lady should be in the jail and should have been in the jail long time ago. And every time a file opens, and my Chachaji knew this because, he used to be DG police, etc. in many different states. His son was an IB at that time, so he knew about it. So he said, again, her file is open, a corruption inquiry is going on, and she has come here, and Guruji will again bless her, and again, nothing will happen. And he was absolutely mad. He was saying, Guruji, I don't know why he keeps doing it. He should let these people be behind jail. They are a threat to the society. Why are these people outside? It's only because of Guruji. So anyway, we reached Bade Mandir. It was a very dark night. And our car reached there before Guruji's car. So we got out and we were standing there talking. And then Guruji's car came, and he came, he passed us by, and he went about 5-6 yards away. And then he turned around abruptly, looked at my Chacha straight in the eyes. And he said, Mahapurushon ki kripa har par barabbar. Those were his exact words. So what he said, and he repeated that a couple more times to me, that everyone who came there was equally blessed. He did not discriminate at all. So it's like, we hear about God, that, Bhagwan ki kripa har par hoti hai. It's like a sun that shines. So that's a good lesson for all of us. Guruji did not discriminate. God does not discriminate. We all get blessed. It doesn't matter who we are, what our station in life is, what our history is, etc. Another incident I want to share with you is around year 2000. And we were in Singapore, as I said, and I used to go there and go to India on Thursday to Delhi, and I'll go straight to Empire State, do Guruji's darshan on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Sunday, I used to take the return flight, which used to be around 11:15 p.m. or something like that at night. So I'll leave, I'll go there to Guruji's place in Empire State around 7, around 8 or 8:30, I'll leave and go to the airport. But somehow that day, I don't know what happened. I decided that, I'm not going to leave till Guruji tells me to leave. That was a pretty crazy thought, but that's what I thought. I said, I'm going to just stay here till Guruji tells me to go and, go to the airport. So at that day, my wife Usha and our Chacha ji and a few other family members were there too with me. My Chacha ji was sitting next to me at Empire State. So when it started getting late, my Chacha ji was very concerned that I'll miss my flight. So he started telling me, Ashok, get up. You have to go now. Otherwise, you'll miss your flight. But, I had decided I'm not going to get up till Guruji tells me to get up. But my Chacha ji kept pushing me. So ultimately, I got up. As I approached Guruji, Guruji smiled and said, Teri flight cancel. Baith ja. And I had not told Guruji that I was going to go to the airport. But of course, he knows all that. So I just came back and I told my Chacha ji that Guruji is saying my flight will be cancelled, so I should sit down. So he said, okay. So we kept sitting down again. It became really late, and ultimately Guruji waved and asked me to come, and he said, Ab tu ja. It was so late that the family members who were with me, Usha and others, and my Chacha ji, they also came out when I was coming out. And they all told me that my Chacha ji said, now you'll miss your flight. So why don't you just go to the airport, come back, and we'll go home together. I said, okay. So I got to the airport. It was pretty late, probably just half an hour or so before the flight departure time. And it was an old airport in Delhi. And they used to have, if you have seen the airport at that time, 4 big gates to enter the airport. And it used to be always very chaotic, very disorganized, and entering the airport itself was a big project and took some time. But that day, it was very unique. I just don't know how to describe it to you. The airport was extremely crowded like on any other day. There's so many people, totally disorganized, so much rush everywhere. But on all those 4 gates, there was not a single person. So I just walked in the gate I used to take, which I think used to be gate number 3. When I went inside, Singapore Airlines is the airline I used to fly. And their counter used to be right in front. So, but that day, I didn't see their counter. So I asked the police constable who was sitting there, who checked the passport. I said, Singapore Airlines used to have, their counter is not here right now. So he said, you are very late. They have removed their signage, but why don't you go and check? So I approached the counter. As I approached the counter, somebody from behind came. There was a cabin. And he said, are you Mr. Singh? I said, yes. He handed me my boarding card. That was nice. The next project, of course, there was to go through immigration. So I went to immigration, filled out my, card, whatever, the immigration card. And there used to be about 10 or 12 lines for immigration, and they all used to be very, very, very crowded. Now, airport was extremely crowded. There was complete chaos, complete disorganization everywhere. But on those immigration counters, there was not a single person on any of the queues. So I just walked through. And then, of course, the next project, there was security. At that time, inside the airport, there used to be 2 tall security gates that you had to pass through, where they checked you. And again, there used to be long lines all the time. And I'm in the airport. Airport is extremely crowded. There are people everywhere. But on those two gates, there's not a single person. So I just walked through. And I approached finally at the gate, the plane, and boarded just a few minutes before departure. So all it took me probably was 10 to 15 minutes, to go from the outside of the airport to the plane. Just it was such an easy walk. I was just basically walking through, something that would take usually hour and a half, something like that, to do. So anyway, when I reached Singapore home, Usha was still in India. So I called her up and I told her that, see, with Guruji's blessing, the boarding was so easy. Please tell Guruji about it and thank him. So Usha called me the next day and she said, you know what? I went and I wanted to thank Guruji. But as soon as I touched his feet, Guruji said, Uncle ki flight to theek thi na? So, it's so beautiful. Not only he arranged it, he also made sure that we understood that it was his blessing, that arranged it. And the reason I'm sharing that episode with you is that, that day I had not realized, but I had surrendered, because I had told myself that I am not going to leave. I'll let Guruji tell me when to leave. So I had handed the responsibility over to Guruji. I didn't do that on purpose. I was not thinking about it, but inadvertently, I had surrendered. And so this is the beauty of surrender. If we can surrender to our Guru and just leave the responsibility for ourselves to him, beautiful things happen. So please, if you can, just surrender to Guruji. All the great things will happen. Another episode I want to share with you is about never questioning Guruji's instructions. We always know that we should never question our Guru. But, I was not too smart. I was rather stupid. So I'll share that. One day I got a call from my uncle and he said, Guruji is asking you to come immediately to Delhi and buy a flat on Aurangzeb Road. So I said, and I had no idea what he was talking about because I knew where Aurangzeb Road was, but I didn't know, there were flats to be sold there or that, why I would buy a flat there. So anyway, I came within a week or so. And then when I touched Guruji's feet for the first time, Guruji repeated the same thing. He said, Ja, Aurangzeb Road pe flat kharid le. So very quickly, he said that. I didn't know how to do that. I had no idea, who to talk to, who can make that happen. So anyway, next day I was with my cousin sister and she didn't used to go to Guruji's Sangat. But I told her what Guruji had said. And she knew the people in the Sangat. So she said, why don't you talk to Vippy? Vippy knows everyone. And Vippy is the gentleman, who was the son of the contractor who built Bade Mandir. So next day when I went to Sangat, I talked to Vippy and Vippy already knew that Guruji had told me to buy a flat. So he said, no problem. I'll arrange some viewings for you. Be ready tomorrow at 10 in the morning. So next day Vippy came and picked me up and he said, you won't believe. Usually no flat is available to be, because the flat, there's only one building on Aurangzeb Road where private flats are available. That is Ansal's building. And he said, it's so much in demand that nothing comes in the market. It's all, quick, dealings. But he said, today I found out that 3 flats available. So he said, it's all Guruji's blessing. And of course, I knew that it is Guruji's blessing. And he showed me one of the flats. He could not show me the other 2, but he showed me where they were. And he said, they are asking 3 crore. He said, I can negotiate a little bit for you, but you have to move immediately because these flats are not going to be here for more than 2-3 days at the most. So I said, okay. But, I didn't really want to buy a flat. No, I didn't know why I should buy a flat. What would I do with it? That's how I was thinking. I thought, I'm staying at, Imperial, for example, when I come here, I spend $300 a night. Maybe I spend 20 nights in India. So that's how much money I'm spending. If I spend, why should I spend 3 crore? I can put the same money in some kind of investment and I can earn a lot more than what I'm paying for my hotel expenses. So that's how stupid my thinking was. So anyway, I didn't want to buy it and I didn't buy it. But next day I thought, maybe I should buy it if Guruji wants to use it. If Guruji wants to be in a center of Delhi, because Empire State is too much on one side of Delhi, maybe Guruji would like to have Sangat in the center of Delhi, and Aurangzeb Road is Delhi, right in the center. So next day I asked Singla, who used to be around Guruji all the time. I said, Mr. Singla, you think Guruji would like to have Sangat in the center of Delhi? And look at how stupid I was. I should have asked Guruji that. But instead of asking Guruji, I was asking somebody else. And the reason for that was that, I could never understand what Guruji said. His Punjabi was very, very unique to his village Punjabi. And he spoke so fast that I could hardly ever make out what he was saying. So anyway, I talked to Mr. Singla, and Mr. Singla said, no, Guruji is not going to move. He's very happy here. Nothing is going to change. So anyway, I didn't buy the flat. I didn't talk to Guruji about it. But later on, much later on, and I'll jump a few years. We came back to US in year 2006 from Singapore. And just about that time, somebody told me that Guruji had been looking for a place in center Delhi for many years and he had not found a place. I felt so bad. I felt so guilty. I felt so terrible. I said, my Guru asked me just to do one thing and I didn't do that. It was really, my conscience was really bothering me. And at that time, I got a call from Guruji, and Guruji asked me to come and meet him during day. So I went to see Guruji. That's him and I were together. And Guruji very strictly told me, he said, Dekh, तेरे और तेरे गुरु के बीच में कोई नहीं रहेगा. तू जब भी चाहे मुझे फोन कर, मुझसे बात कर. और मैं, then he gave me 2 phone numbers. He said one belonged to my nephew Gaurav, the other belonged to his driver. He said, I have instructed them that any time you call, that they have to tell me immediately, even if I'm doing part, and I'll talk to you immediately. So he was basically answering, my own dilemma at that time. I had not bothered to talk to Guruji about something that was very important. I should have talked to him. And if you think about what he was telling me, he was telling me that he is always available. All I have to do is to reach out to him. So the message is for all of us. Guruji is always available to us. His doors are always open, but we have to reach out. We have to make an effort, to find him, to communicate with him. But his doors are always open. He'll always accept our call. He'll always accept our effort and make it successful. So that's very important. Please understand that Guruji's doors are always open. We have to open our doors to communicate with him, to reach him. Now you may be wondering who Guruji was. I used to wonder too, who Guruji was. And I asked many people and, they always said Guruji is Shivji. So I figured, maybe he's Shivji, but, I was not too sure. I said, maybe he is Shivji. But somebody also told me that he's Hanumanji. So I said, maybe he's Hanumanji. I don't know. But, one thing I was very curious about something. We used to be at Guruji's Sangat till pretty late in the night, sometimes 2, 3 in the morning. And then I used to be, I heard people say that Guruji would go into part after that. So I said, we sit there till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock sometimes. Uske baad Guruji part karte hain, so when does Guruji sleep? So I started, I started wondering about it like a child. But I never asked Guruji because Guruji had told me never to ask him anything. Guruji's instructions were that we should not ask him anything. So But one day I could not contain myself. Guruji was alone. So I asked Guruji, I said, Guruji, aap kabhi sote hain? Guruji smiled like only a God can smile. And he said so lovingly, I can't describe how lovingly. And he said in pure Hindi, he didn't speak Punjabi because I guess, if he had spoken Punjabi, I may have missed it too. But he spoke pure Hindi and he said, मैं सोऊंगा तो सृष्टि को कौन देखेगा? Those were his exact words. He was saying, if he sleeps, who will look after the creation? Who will look after the universe? He had revealed himself at that time. We always have this slok that we hear, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Par Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruvaya Namah. He basically said that at that moment. He said that I am He. I am Shiv. So, obviously, we all wonder, why would Shivji be sitting there? Why would Shivji be Guruji? Doesn't Shivji have better things to do than to come in a human body and be sitting there? So, the answer to that is actually in Shiv Puran. If you read Shiv Puran, there is an instance where Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva, not the way we see him in picture, Lord Shiva in that form is formless. And he creates Brahma. And he gives instructions to Brahma to create the universe. So Brahma, it took Brahma a lot of trial and error. Finally, Brahma figured out how to do that. After lots of trial and error, a lot of failures. And once Brahma did that, he is very proud, as described in Shiv Puran. So proud that a fifth head grew up on his head, on his neck. So Shivji is very intrigued. He said, why is Brahma so proud? So let me see what he has done. So Shivji looks at the universe, the creation, and he's very disappointed because he sees violence, he sees jealousy, he sees laziness, he sees all kind of bad things there. So he can't figure out, why Brahma is so happy having created this kind of a mess. So he questions Brahma. He said, what have you done? You've created a big mess there. Brahma says, Lord, why don't you correct it? So Shivji says, no, I gave you that responsibility, so I'm not going to interfere. But every once in a while, I'll go there and take care of some of my bhakts. So that is the role of Sadguru. Lord Shiva himself, or somebody who he touches, is a Sadguru. And the only responsibility for Sadguru, or the only role they have, is redemption of a few souls. See, Sadguru doesn't come to the world to change the world. He's not an avatarit Purush like Vishnu avatar. He just comes to take care of a few souls that he thinks need his help and should be helped. So that's who Sadguru is. And how does Sadguru do that? Sadgurus do that by taking our karma on themselves. So we don't know this, but we have come from him. Because we have come from the creation, from Lord Shiva. And we have to go back to him. It's like a little game that we are in. And we don't know that we are in this game. We don't know that we have come from him. And we don't know we have to go back there. But the only way to go back there is to cleanse ourselves of all our karma. And we cannot do that. Because every time we are born, we actually create more of a mess. Instead of lightening the load, we keep adding to our load. So only way to get out of this cycle of birth and death and to go back where we need to be is through the help of Sadguru. Because he's the one who takes care of us, takes our karma on himself and allows us, or rather he redeems us. That's his only mission. And he does that totally unconditionally. He does that only because of his compassion and without expecting any return from us. And it may take Sadhguru ages for any one of the souls that he has selected to do that. He may not be able to do that in one life for any one soul. And that's because of our own interference, because we don't give up. We keep doing what we want to do. We don't allow the Sadhguru to take over. We don't surrender to our Sadhguru. To sometimes, his mission becomes very long. But he is totally determined. He doesn't give up. Doesn't matter how long it takes. He'll take care of the souls that he has identified that need to be taken care of by him. And in this process, Sadhguru, of course, suffers because, those karma that he takes upon himself are suffering. I've seen Guruji suffer. Guruji used to be in, some of you may have been there, may have seen Guruji also, and you probably know this. Guruji was in constant suffering, in constant pain all the time. All the time. And he was suffering for us. Actually, I felt that he shouldn't do that. I even approached him once. I said, Guruji, ये सब छोड़िए. थोड़ा दिन इसको बंद कर दीजिए. Just please rest. Or come, please stay with us. You know what? Guruji smiled. And Guruji said, इसीलिए तो मैं आया हूँ. Those were his exact words. He had taken a human body just to be able to help us, get out of this cycle of death and birth and death. And, Guru's job is very difficult when you think about it. Why do we want to surrender to somebody who claims that he's a Sadguru? Suppose you are walking on a street and somebody comes to you, taps you on a shoulder and said, I'm Sadguru, surrender to me and I'll take care of you. You think you'll do that? And that's the reason, we put our Sadguru in a very difficult situation where he has to assure us that he has all this power and that we should trust him. And that's why miracles happen. Those miracles are not for any other reason except for us to understand that our Sadguru is no other than Almighty Lord Shiva. And then we must trust him and we must surrender to him. And people don't understand that. So we, instead of thinking of why he's doing what he's doing, in terms of miracles, in terms of fragrance or whatever we experience, we think we should just go and enjoy some of those miracles, ask Guruji to do this and he'll do this for us, and he'll ask Guruji for that and he'll do that for us. But that's not what the miracles are for. Miracles are for just so that you and I become aware of who our Sadguru is. And if we know our Sadguru, then actually those miracles will happen. Will stop. But that's the reason for miracles. So don't seek the miracles in Sadguru. Don't want it. They're only so that we know who he is. Our Sadguru is also very special for us. If we are lucky enough to have a Sadguru, and we are very few of us will have a Sadguru, maybe a million, one in a million. If you read a very important writing of Shankaracharya, Adguru Shankaracharya, in Vivek Chudamani, he writes, he said, 3 things are possible only with Bhagavad Kripa, with divine will. First, a human body. Human body is possible, a human birth is possible only by divine will. Second, he said, spiritual curiosity. He said, doesn't matter whether we have a human body, very few of us will have a spiritual curiosity. Very rare one, only very few of us. And he said, the ultimate blessing of divine will is Sadguru. Because if we have found the Sadguru, if he has found us and we have reached him, there's nothing more there. There's no more destinations left. We have reached our destination. That is the ultimate. So once we have found Sadguru, that we don't need to worry about anything else. So if you think you have a guru, don't worry about anything anymore. Don't have any fears. Don't have any worries, because Sadguru's blessing for us is a life without worries, a life without fear. That is his true blessing. And if we don't understand that, that is the only thing that will pain our Sadguru. Guruji would probably tell us, अगर तू डरता है, अगर तू अभी भी परेशान है, तो तेरे गुरु का फायदा क्या होना? So if you believe that you have a guru, if you think Guruji is your guru, then the first thing you should stop worrying and stop fearing. Don't live in fear, don't worry, because Guru is there to take care of all those challenges that are there. Then he'll help you. Don't worry about anything. Don't be scared of anything. Guru is there. He is always looking after you. And Guruji is very special. If we are destined a guru, then there is only one Sadguru that is in our destiny. We can't say, ठीक है गुरुजी के पास भी चले जाएंगे, फिर एक और गुरु का नाम सुना वहां भी चले जाएंगे, फिर एक और कहीं और चले जाएंगे, कोई ना कोई तो मिल ही जाएगा. So we all have only one guru. And I can share with you an episode I went through in year 1996. We went to Singapore for my assignment in January of 96. In March of 96, the Singapore government had organized a very large conference. It was called Global Indian Entrepreneurs Conference. So I was invited. I was managing director of my company. So I was invited for that. Lots of people had come from all over the world, especially from India. So it was a 2-day conference. So there was assigned seating for lunch both days. So on the first day at lunch, I was seated next to a gentleman who was wearing suit, very nicely dressed. He gave me his business card. I didn't look very carefully at it, but he told me that he is a banker. He's from Bangalore, and he has given his life to Lord Shiva. And then he went on to talk about a few other things. And he said that evening after our conference, he has an invitation at the British Club in Singapore, where some ladies have invited him for a talk. So he said, you should come too. So I said, okay, I'll come. So he gave me the time. He said, be at the British Club at this time. So I said, okay, I'll come. So British Club is on a road called Bukit Tinggi Road. And Singapore is not huge. And I was right there, basically. So I said, I'll go to Bukit Tinggi. I know where that is. So I tried to go there. I was driving my own car. And I knew where Bukit Tinggi was. And I had a very good map of Bukit Tinggi, map of Singapore. But, hard as I tried, I could not reach Bukit Tinggi Road. And I don't know how to explain that. I don't know what I was doing, but I just could not reach Bukit Tinggi Road. I tried it for about half an hour. And after that, I gave up. I said, I'll just go home. So I went home. So next day, when I went back to the conference, we had the same seating arrangement at lunch. This gentleman was pretty nonplussed with me. He said, how come you didn't come? So I said, I couldn't reach British Club. And I could see from his face that he didn't believe what he was saying, and I wouldn't have believed it either. But I just absolutely could not reach British Club. So anyway, that was the episode. Then a few years went by, and I was walking through Little India one day, and I saw some big posters. And the face on the posters looked very familiar, but I couldn't figure out who this person was. I thought I'd seen this person. And then a few days later, suddenly it flashed that face actually belonged to the same man who I had met in that Global Indian Entrepreneurs Conference in March 1996. Except that now he had a beard. Now he was wearing all this white chola. So I went back to Little India to find out what this poster was about, and it was about Sri Ravi Shankar, his visit to Singapore. So I was sitting actually in March 96 to next to Sri Ravi Shankar, and he had invited me for this session, whatever. But the way I look at it, he was not to be my guru, and my guru made sure that I don't get lost and go somewhere else. That's the only way I can explain it. I mean, how can I not reach British Club when I knew exactly where British Club was? And I kept trying and going round and round for half an hour. Finally gave up. So we are all destined only one Sadguru. We don't have a choice that we can go here. Maybe if it doesn't work out, we go there. Doesn't work out. So we have a very special, exclusive relationship with the Sadguru. That's our destiny. That's how it works. And everything is, once we've reached our Guruji, everything is his gift, whether it is good, bad, or ugly. It's all because of him. Whether it is sorrow, whether it is happiness, whether it is pain, whether it is pleasure, it's all coming from him. And actually, if it is pain and if it is sorrow, it is a lot more valuable than happiness. Because just think about it. If we are in a little bit of pain, our guru is suffering 100,000 times more pain for us. That is a beautiful way to get rid of our karma. This journey is difficult, and some pains will come, some sorrows will come. It's not going to be easy, but the way to look at it is, when we have a little bit of suffering, our guru is suffering 100,000 times more for us. So what a beautiful way to get rid of our karma, go through that little bit of pain here and there in the journey with Guru. We should actually celebrate our pain and our suffering a lot more than we should celebrate happiness when we have a Guru. So just my advice, if you have problems, just enjoy, because that problems is a gift and a blessing of Guruji to get rid of lots of our karma. It's a lot more important, lot more valuable in the journey than happiness, than the good things that will happen. But at the same time, we should realize that even if the pain and sorrow comes, we should know that it shall also come to pass. It's temporary. It's not going to be there with us forever. And Guruji taught us that too. Once I remember it was probably year 97, 98, very early after knowing Guruji, we had some family issues, some problems in the family, health problems. I don't know what kind of problems, not immediate family. That Usha was very worried. She was very worried for days. One day the phone rings. She picks up the phone. On the other side, it is Guruji. And Guruji says, "Main Guruji bol raha hu. Everything is temporary," and he hung up. See, that was his message. So please keep that in mind. If we have pain, if we have sorrow, if we have suffering, it's all because of Guruji. He has planned it like that, and it is going to be temporary. So don't let it bother you much. Once you have found Guruji, don't let anything bother you. Everything is being taken care of by him. There's no higher blessing. There's no other destination after finding Guru, after he has found us. And I'll share one more incident before ending. One day I was sitting with Guruji, and I saw about all these gurus, that travel overseas, and they go on these tours to US, to Europe, to Japan, wherever. So I was very curious. I said, my guru, doesn't he want to go anywhere? So I asked Guruji, "Guruji, aap bahar nahi jana chahte hain?" Because I was thinking, if Guruji wants to go, I should arrange. So Guruji smiled like a child, like a god. Only God can smile. And Guruji said so lovingly, he said, "Mujhe keval India mein acha lagta." Now just think about that. Just think about that. God saying that God only likes India. So don't ever think that India is anything except the best. We are really blessed to have come from a country which God thinks is the best place. We call it Devbhumi. So there are lots of problems there, but underneath all those problems, the way God looks at it, that way divine vision is, it is the blessed place to be. India is the best. Because also, think about it, nowhere except India in the world, the concept of Sadguru is there. In Buddhism, it is there, I'm sorry, but it's also went from India. In Buddhism, they call it Avalokiteshwar. But, it is just the Eastern concept. It is nowhere else in the world except in India. It's basically an original Indian thought, and it's only an Indian phenomena. Now you may think about what to do to find Guruji, what to do about Guruji. And Guruji keeps it very simple. All he expects us to do is make time for him and meditate. Everything that we have in this world actually has come from him. We should never think that this house is ours. I mean, the house is ours because of him. Car is ours because of him. Our education is what happened because of him. But there are two things that are really only ours. One is our time. What we do with our time is up to us. And second, our thoughts. What we want to think about. So these are the only two things we have to give. We can't give anything else. So what our Guru would like us to do is give him the time, make time for him, and give our thoughts to him. That's the only thing we can do. He doesn't expect anything else. Guruji ne kaha bhi bahut baar, thoda samay diya kar, bas. So just make some time, meditate upon him. And that's all we have to do, nothing more than that. And Guru is out there for us. But we have some obligations that Guruji told us. So I'll share them with you. The first is, mango mat mano. Never ask anything. And the reason is very simple. He already knows everything. Not only he knows everything, he also knows what's best for us. So why should we ask him for something which may not even best for us, which may not work? And I have learned that lesson. I followed Guruji instructions, didn't ask him for anything, but I asked him for something. I'm so embarrassed, I won't share with you what I asked for. And he gave me exactly what I asked for, and I wish I'd never asked for it. The result was so terrible. Because we are human beings, we make mistakes. We can't see the ramifications of what will happen if this happens, if that happens. So never ask him for anything. He already knows what's best for us. And he will give that to us. So why bother? Why ask him? Just mano. Guruji kehte the just mano, mango mat. The second thing he told us, don't hurt anyone. That's a lesson that we should all have. Don't hurt anyone physically, emotionally, financially, or in any other way. And the reason is very simple. We are all connected, right? We all come from him. So if we hurt somebody, we are in the end hurting ourselves. That's law of karma. And when we do that, Guru can't help us. When we knowingly do these things, Guru doesn't do anything for us. We have to handle that consequences ourselves. So don't hurt anybody, because then we'll make our journey longer with our Guru. He's not going to be able to help us. Then the other thing he told us is Gupt Jap. And Jap that he gave us was Om Namah Shivaya, Shivji Sada Sahai. So he said, Gupt Jap karta raha kar. And I'll share you an incident about that. Once I learned that Guruji knows everything and he even knows what I'm thinking about, I used to worry that if I'm sitting in the Sangat and some ugly thought flashes through my mind, or some bad thoughts, then that's really embarrassing. So I used to just keep doing the job. Om Namah Shivaya Shivji Sada Sahaya. Om Namah Shivaya Shivji Sada Sahaya. Because, if you're doing a job, your thoughts are not there in your mind. So one day, Guruji called me to his room and he said, "Bahut acha karta hai. Aisi job kiya kar." So that's a lesson. Just keep doing your jobs. Whenever you have time, you are by yourself. You're waiting for something, you're driving, just do your job. It's as simple as that. And Guruji said it's very important, so just do it. Don't question like I questioned buying a house flat on Aurangzeb Road. Just go and do it because Guruji has said do it. And the other thing he said is Gupt Dan. Now I can share some incidents about that, but I won't do that today. But he said Gupt Dan is very important. He said you should give with right hand so that left hand would not know what you have done with the right hand. So please give as much as you can from, whether it be financially, whether it be your time or whatever, but do it in a way that nobody should know. It should be completely anonymous. Nobody should know what you have done. Don't beat your chest that you have donated this much money. Don't try to put a nameplate somewhere that a donation came from you. The moment you do that, it's all wasted. It's of no use. But if you can keep it quiet, if you can keep it a secret, that's what Guruji wants. So don't question what Guruji wants, just do it. Then other thing he told us was very important. He said, do everything as an offering to your Guru. And at that time when he was saying that, both Usha and I were together with him. And he looked at Usha and he said, lipstick bhi lagaya kar to aise lagaya kar jaise Guru ke liye laga rahi hai. So what he was saying, even do the most mundane tasks when you do, just do it as you are doing it for your Guru. And that lesson is also there in Gita. Gita, Lord Krishna says very clearly that if you do a karma as an offering, then you don't create a karma. If you take any action as an offering, then you don't create karma. So that Guruji also said that. So whatever you do, like, you want to be CEO of your company, okay? So just do it as an offering to Guruji. And when you sit on that chair, CEO's chair, don't think that you are there because of you. You are there because of Guruji. And don't ever forget that. If you want to start a business and you want to be successful in a business, just go and do it. And always think that you did it and you succeeded because of Guruji. Never get your ego out of there completely. Your ego should not be there at all because everything happens with his will. And very importantly, pursue your dreams with full vigor and determination. Do what you want to do. We all have a mission in life. A Guru is, there. Now what we have to do what we want to do, and Guruji will help us succeed. So you want to have a wonderful garden, go ahead and do that. You will end up with the best garden in the world. You want to buy a house, you'll end up with the largest house you can buy with Guru's help. You want to rise in your company, just work hard. You'll rise beyond your imagination, beyond your expectations. So just do that. That is Purusharth. Guruji doesn't mean that you just sit there and do his job and say something good will happen. Efforts have to come from us. Guruji told me very clearly, Kaam kar, main purusharth kar, mehnat kar. If we do one, he'll make it 100. And I've made these mistakes many times, and I'll share some of my own stupidity with you, so that be a lesson. I told you that I was in Singapore, and that was 2-3 year assignment, ended up 11-year assignment, because 11 year it became such a long assignment because I was extremely successful and they didn't want to move me. It was so good that I established plant in China, for example. That became, within the first year, it became profitable. The second year, it was the most profitable plant in the company in the terms of returns. I used to be able to make my bookings plan, which is orders plan, within 6 months. And I used to make my shipment plans within 9 months consistently. And my goals would be increased haphazardly every year. Didn't matter. And I used to think I was so good. And, that because I didn't know at that time, I didn't understand things. And Guruji tried to teach me. And I'll tell you how he tried to teach me. Once I was having a review of my annual performance with my boss who was in US. And while the performance review was going on, the phone became fragrant. I was in my office at about 11 o'clock at night, and the phone became fragrant. It became so fragrant, and I couldn't believe phone becoming fragrant. There was plastic. And it's one of those old phone sets. So I took out the handset, I brought it home and showed it to Usha. Said, Usha, look at this phone. It is fragrant, with Guruji's fragrance. And what Guruji was saying at that time, you stupid, you are successful because of me. And I didn't get it. I really didn't get it at that time. I thought it's just another miracle of Guruji happening. Now I understand what was happening. Guruji was helping me understand, and I never understood that my success was because of him. And this happened during annual review. At another time, I was in Delhi, and it was year 2004, May of 2004, and suddenly I get a call from my boss. I was taking a shower to get ready to go to Guruji Sangat, and my boss was pleading with me to come to US right away because he wanted me to take up a position of vice president for our division. And the reason for that was, all the names that have been forwarded, only one name was acceptable to them, the first stage. And that guy who was acceptable to the corporate headquarters, he was a financial guy. He had never done any operations work. So he was very nervous about accepting the job. And all the other names were not acceptable till my name was offered and my name became acceptable. So he said, MP, if you don't take this job, they'll send some idiot from headquarters and they'll make my life difficult. So I want you to come, please come. I'm pleading with you and just take this job. I and you can work together, but I don't want somebody from headquarters, who I don't know to be, there as a VP. So I said, okay, well, I didn't know what to say. So anyway, I went to feet and Guruji immediately said, income double. So, it was Guruji, who had arranged for all that. But, I really didn't want to go. I was very happy in Singapore. Money was not an issue. I could care less about how much more or less money I was going to make. I was very happy in Singapore and Guruji was there. I could be with Guruji anytime. So I said, Guruji, मैं जाना नहीं चाहता. मैं यहीं खुश हूँ. मैं आपके पास आता रहता हूँ. कभी-कभी मैं बिल्कुल मेरा मन नहीं यूएस जाने का वापस. Guruji became quiet for a few moments. Then he said, अच्छा घूम के आजा. So anyway, I came to US, and what happened? Once this guy, financial VP, found out that I was coming, then he figured, he'll lose the opportunity. He immediately accepted the job. So before I could reach US, that job had been filled. So it became just as a Guruji said, "Ghum ke aaja." So, Guruji created that. Once Guruji also, I pleaded with Guruji, main nahi jana chahta, I also closed the door, which I wanted. So, everything happens, with Guru's blessing, everything is there. Guru is both for blessings in afterlife as well as in this life. So once you found a Guru, once I've found a Guru, we all have found a Guru, there's nothing more to be found. Just enjoy, be happy, don't be scared, don't worry about anything. Guruji is with there. In closing, I want to say that the best place to keep Guruji is in your heart, in your mind. Don't run to temples. If Guruji is in your mind, he's in your heart, he's always with you. You always have your temple with you. Why run to temples? Now, Bade Mandir is very important. So you should always go to Bade Mandir at least once in a life because it's Guru's Mandir. But don't go there because you think it will help you or it'll be a merit thing to do. Go there as a respect to your Guru. It's Guru who built that temple. It's like a pilgrimage. Do it once in a lifetime at least. But other than that, the temple has to be inside us. It's in our heart, in our mind. The other thing that I think we mistake often is Sangat. We think we need a big gathering to do our Sangat. But Sangat is with Guruji. Our Sangat is with Guru. Our Sangat is not with other people. Sangat is with Guru. You can do the Sangat anytime you want, any place you want. All you need is sit down peacefully with a Guruji's photo. If the photo is not clear in your mind, have a diya and meditate. Then you are doing Sangat. There's nothing more to it. Of course, if you have big gathering, that's good. That's better because then you have a community feeling also. But you don't need a big community to do Sangat with Guruji. You can do it anywhere, wherever you want. Similarly, doing good, like, we have this website in Seattle, and we often get email from people who want to do volunteer work at Bale Mandir. Why only Bale Mandir? If you want to do some good, if you want to help others, do whatever you want to do, you can do it anywhere. Don't just think that Bale Mandir is the only place where you'll do some good. Do it wherever you are. And Guruji wants us to keep things simple and easy. Avoid rituals. Guruji didn't want any rituals. He didn't even allow flowers. At one time, Empire State used to be full of flowers. And one day Guruji said, enough, no more flowers. Everything was simple. Only a diya used to burn, if I remember correctly. And one bouquet of flower used to be there. Keep things simple. And I'll also like to say that trust only Guru. Listen to everyone, listen to, like you're listening to me, listen to everybody. But there's only one Guru you have, and only one Guru you should trust. There's nobody else you need to trust. Listen to everybody, but don't have to trust anybody. And just stay with Guruji. Enjoy Guru's blessings. And I can tell you, Usha is just saying, should say something about being in Seattle. When we were coming back to Seattle in September 2006, actually my last visit with Guruji was in March of 2007 when I went back. And coming, when after visit, when I was coming back, I was very sad because before that, I used to see Guruji every month, every other month. And now, it was after a few months that I was able to go because we were in US. So Guruji was sitting on the floor with his feet spread, and he asked me to sit next to him. And I was very sad. I told Guruji that, Guruji, I'm very sad that, I'm in US now and I can't see you. Guruji's words were, "Dekhta chal, dekhta chal, dekhta chal." And after we came here, Guruji gave me what I always wanted. I told you that if I had known that Guruji wanted to do Sangat in that place in Aurangzeb Road, I would have definitely bought that immediately. And I always regretted it not having done anything for Guru. But Guru has come for us in the house we are in. Once we came here, it was such a wonderful experience. At 4 o'clock in the morning, every day, we used to hear flush. I couldn't figure out who is using the flush in the house. I started thinking maybe it's a next door. But, these houses are built like 30, 40 feet apart. So I even asked my contractor, I said, you think if somebody is using the flush in that next house, I'll hear it. He started laughing. Finally, it sunk to me that it's Guruji who's making us aware that he is in the house. And before actually that happened, he came in my dream and he said, "Tune nameplate nahi lagai?" So I'm talking to him in the dreams and I asked him, "Kaun si nameplate, Guruji?" I think Guruji Niwas. Nameplate ka nahi ghar pe. And then I woke up after that. So I immediately ordered nameplates from India at that time. The name became Guruji Niwas, and slowly, just Guruji make his presence, so clear, so visible here. Everything that used to happen in Empire State started happening for us here. So Guruji, my lesson is that I want to share with all of you that you can create your own Empire State, your Chote Mandir, Bade Mandir, wherever you are, with His blessing, and keep your temple with you all the time. Don't go run to Bade Mandir once in a year or once in 2 years and think that you're going to Bade Mandir. Your Bade Mandir should be inside you. Similarly, Sangat, do the Sangat anytime you want to do Sangat. Because, if Guruji is with you, just do your Sangat. Incidences have happened, all the time. I didn't on purpose share those incidents because, when you think about Guruji, when you know who he is, he's a Sarv Samar, Sarv Shaktiman. He's omnipotent. He's also Sarvagya and Antaryami. He knows everything, not only everything, but also inside us, Antaryami. And he is Sarvas and Sarvyapi. He can be anywhere, anytime, including inside us. And he is all merciful. Karuna ke atha sagar hai. His mercy, his kindness is unending. These are his qualities. So never question it. And then these are the qualities of our Sadguru, and these are also the qualities of our Lord, because they are the same. And an incident comes, a thought comes to me. Guruji ne hum log ko mantra diya tha, Om Namah Shivaya Shivji Sada Sahaya. But how we are, how bhakts are, how the Sangat is, we added another line. I didn't do that, but Sangat did that. We insisted on adding a line, Om Namah Shivaya Guruji Sada Sahaya. Of course, Shivji is Guruji, so it doesn't matter. We are saying the same thing. Whether we say Om Namah Shivaya Shivji Sada Sahaya, Om Namah Shivaya Guruji Sada Sahaya. Now but sometimes our Sadguru becomes a little helpless in front of us. Now Sadguru, our Guruji never liked any rituals, for example. First time he allowed Aarti was in year 2005, I think. And he allowed it because I think some people just were totally insistent that we have to have Aarti. Guruji didn't want it. Guruji was so simple. And actually, the video exists of that Aarti. And if you watch it, you will see that Guruji was very uncomfortable. He was not very happy sitting there. He was very uncomfortable. He's fidgeting, he's feeling awkward, So, my lesson from all that was, Guruji wanted us to be so simple, so easygoing, and Guruji never owned a single thing. Difficult as it may be to believe, Lord of the universe didn't own a single object. जितनी चीजें कपड़े जैसे गुरुजी पहनते थे, भक्त लोग लेके आते थे. Guruji would wear all those things for like once, twice, 3 times, and then he'll give it away. So, he'll just give everything away. The only thing I'm told that he kept with him was his razor, for shaving the head. I don't know whether that's true or not. I never asked Guruji, but that's what he said. But I want to share a couple more incidents. In one case, Guruji asked me to come in the morning. It was a winter morning. So I went there. Guruji was sitting in his room. And Guruji often gave me that opportunity. And, Guruji bolte bhi the, मुझसे पूछा नहीं कर कुछ. मैं चुपचाप जाके बैठ जाता था. गुरुजी के साथ बैठा रहता था. कभी घंटों तक बैठा रहता था. It was a blissful time, but I never asked him anything. Now I really regret it. There was so many questions I could have asked. But anyway, I was sitting there. We were sitting for a long time. Then somebody came and announced कि गुरुजी आपका पानी गरम तैयार है, आप नहा लीजिए. So Guruji left and went for a shower. Then within 5 minutes, he came rushing back. And he said, Shabad nahi chal raha hai. And then he asked somebody to come and said, Uncle, ke liye Shabad chalao. And then he went back for his shower. Now just think about it. You think he didn't know that shower were not playing when he left for first time? Of course he knew. But if he had just come there and said Shabad chalao, then it would not have had that dramatic impact. So he came back, made a dramatic entry, and made sure I understood that Shabad were important and play Shabad. Had somebody else start a Shabad so I could listen to it. So my lesson to all of us is that Shabads are important. I don't know why, don't ask me why. Guruji said Shabad is important, so that's important. So listen to it. You know, एक बार गुरुजी ने मेरे सामने कोई गुरुजी से क्वेश्चन कर रहा था, वो कह रहा था गुरुजी मुझे पंजाबी नहीं आती, मुझे समझ में नहीं आता। तो गुरुजी ने कहा मुझे सुनने के लिए बोला है, समझने के लिए बोला है? No, there's just a value in just listening to it, I guess, even if you don't understand. So please, Shabad, I forgot to include that in my list. Shabad, listening to Shabad is also should be on your list, beside Gupt Jab, Gupt Dan, and other things that I shared. So please listen to Shabad as much as you can. All these Shabads that we listen to are from Guru Granth Sahib. They have been blessed by our Gurus. They are not ordinary compositions. You'll find it is very easy to do meditation with these Shabads. You can try meditation with so many other compositions, but I have done that, and I have found that with these Shabads from Guru Granth Sahib, it is very easy, very simple. And part of that is because of Guruji. He's blessed them. That's how we were trained in Empire State. So please, always, whenever you can, listen to Shabad. And there is, I told you that Guruji is Sarv Samarth and Sarv Shaktiman. And I can share so many incidents. Complete control of everything. Once it was a very hot summer day. There were only 5 or 6 of us. We were sitting outside. Guruji was lying on a charpai on a bed. It was a very, very hot, sweltering hot. We were all sweating so much. Then one of us said, Guruji, bahut garam hai. So Guruji said, garmi hai, garam hoga. For Guruji, it was said, of course, it's normal. So anyway, nobody said anything. And after that, sometime the same person said, Guruji, bahut garam hai. Guruji ke, garmi hai, garam kya, thanda chahiye? He said, yes, Guruji, thoda thanda hota to acha hota. Immediately, without even 2 seconds, it even elapsed, torrential rain happened. Ice cold water was raining within 2 seconds, and there were no clouds anywhere. And it was so cold, we all had to run inside, Bade Mandir. We were outside Bade Mandir to find shelter from that icy cold water on a hot summer day. Another incident I can tell you about weather was, we were in Sri Lanka once, and I had made plans to see Guruji. And I should say something also very interesting. Guruji used to get very upset with people of Delhi. He said, Delhi ke log bilkul bewkoof, bilkul nalaik. He said, they are very selfish. He said, Punjab ke log achhe hain. And I think it was, year 2002 or year 2003, I can't remember. 2002, I think. Guruji became very angry with Delhi crowd, and he went to Jalandhar. And he gave strict instructions, Delhi people don't come. I'm there only for Punjabi people, in Punjab, in Jalandhar. So at that time, I made plans to go to see Guruji, and I found out he was in Jalandhar. So I don't know whether Guruji puts me in the Jalandhar crowd or what crowd he puts me with. So let me figure out whether I should go or not. So I had 2 people check. So they both told me, Guruji said you can come. So anyway, I thought it's good, we can go and visit Guruji in Jalandhar. So I made plans to come from Sri Lanka. We were vacationing there. The children always used to come for their breaks. So we made plan. The plan was set that on 29th, I think December, we were flying to Delhi. 30th December, we'll go to Jalandhar by car. 31st December, we'll come back to Delhi, catch the night flight back to Singapore. And on first afternoon, the children were to come back to US, college. So there was no flexibility in the plan, the way I made them. When we boarded the plane in Colombo, suddenly it occurred to me that the weather is usually pretty bad in Delhi. It's fogged up pretty badly. So I don't know whether we'll be able to land. And I said, I never thought about it, but let's see what happens. That's exactly what happened. We approached Delhi, and the pilot made an attempt to land. He could not land. So he came on intercom and he said, it's a pretty bad fog. I've tried to land once and I'll try again. Let's see. So he tried again second time and he couldn't land. And he said, we've been asked to go to Ahmedabad. So my heart sank. I said, oh my God, Ahmedabad. I thought maybe we'll go to Jaipur. But at that time, Jaipur was not an international airport. So anybody, he said, we are now heading to Ahmedabad. I said, there goes all my plans to see Guruji in, Jalandhar. And I'm sure same thoughts were going through our families, Usha's mind and our children's mind. And I started praying. I said, Guruji, kuch kariye, please. Then within 2-3 minutes, the pilot again came on intercom. He said, the fog seems to be lifting. We have been asked to try once more. So he came back, and sure enough, we landed. And as soon as we landed, he again announced, he said, fog has suddenly come down, and now they are shutting down the airport. So we were very lucky. There was just a few minutes of window there, we could land. So anyway, we landed. I was very happy. So next day, we made to Jalandhar. At night time, we were at the Jalandhar Mandir, and we go and see Guruji there, and I touched his feet. Guruji immediately said, "Sabko bata, tera plane kaise land kiya?" So it's not that these things used to happen. Guruji also made sure that we understood it is happening because he made it happen. And he would often say, sometimes with a little sadness, he said, "Meri shakti lagti hai." और ये लोग सोचते हैं coincidence हो गया. So that's a good lesson for all of us. A lot of good things happen, and they happen because of his blessings, because of who he is, because of his compassion, and we often don't realize that. I mean, जैसा ये तो होना ही था, coincidence हो गया, तो luck की बात थी, chance की बात थी. It's not that. He's a Vishwavidhata, and he does things. He changes things. For just the small people like us. So we are happy, and And Usha is reminding me that the one thing that I should have shared that I didn't share, and I'm sorry about it. He has blessed me with 2 lives, already. So I'm in my third life or whatever, 4th life, something like that. So it's all His grace. I'm here with all of you. I'm here with my family. The first time it was, it occurred, it was in Diwali. We went back to India. And while coming, then Guruji said, come back to Delhi and spend Diwali with me. So we came back to Delhi, and when we landed in Delhi, when we came to Delhi, rather, I felt I was not well. I could hardly walk. But there was nothing else wrong with me. But I just could not walk. It was so difficult for me to lift my feet. So we went home, wherever we were, staying. And after some time, I told Usha that, Usha, finally I gave up. I said, Usha, I'm not well. I need to go to the hospital. So we were taken to the hospital. It was a small hospital in Noida at that time, Max Hospital. And so we were attended to by Dr. Talwar. My oxygen level was taken by oximeter, and oxygen level was so low that I was immediately put into ICU. Dr. Talwar said that, you are lucky to be alive. And then Usha said, we think we'll take him to Apollo. So he started laughing. He said, I'm the best asthma specialist in the metro area. You're very lucky I'm still working here today, it being a Diwali day. If you go to Apollo or some other hospital, you won't have any doctors of any repute. So you are very lucky that you came here and that I'm here. So, and anyway, at that time, suddenly Guruji's fragrance started coming. So the family was very happy. Guruji is there, and things should be okay. So anyway, that day being Diwali day, Usha went. I asked Usha to go to Guruji because Guruji wanted us to be with him. I said, I can't go, but you go. So she went, and Guruji, of course, gave her some prasad to bring back for me. So she gave, I had the prasad, and from next morning, like a miracle, I started getting well. And my healing was so quick that within 2 days, I was from ICU to outside the hospital. Then I went, I went to see Guruji that afternoon when I was discharged. So as soon as I saw him and I touched his feet, Guruji said, second life or something like that. But I didn't follow it. So it's one of those things, where Guruji bolte hain, unki shakti lagti hai, hum samajh mein nahi aata. So then I sat down. So after the Sangat, I got up again to touch his feet to take his leave. And at that time, a young couple was sitting with him. So Guruji turned to the young couple and spoke in Hindi. And he said, Isko maine second life diya. Then I understood what Guruji was saying, that he had blessed me with a new life, and I had not realized it. Guruji ne kiya hai aisa. Guruji had to tell me that he had blessed me with a life. And many, many years before that, actually, Guruji had told me something, and I misunderstood at that time too. Guruji had said what I thought he was saying, mere ko lifelong blessing deni hai. And what Guruji has said, ki mere ko life blessing deni hai. That was the life blessing he gave me. Then later on, he gave me another life blessing when I came to Seattle. I had cancer, so I had they did biopsy for cancer. In biopsy, something went wrong, so I ended up with septicemia, blood poisoning. So I was admitted to ICU. They didn't know at first what was going on. Then they realized it was septicemia, and septicemia has there's no cure for it. Basically, body has to heal itself to get rid of that poison. There's a 50% chances that people don't survive in septicemia, because that the blood will it starts destroying all the organs, and that started happening to me. My kidney was pretty close to failure, my liver was beginning to malfunction, and all kind of wrong things were happening. That time, I was in ICU, and the children were allowed to, I guess, be there. And that night, Usha came back, and at 4 in the morning, there was a call from Guruji. And Guruji somebody had told Guruji that, I was in the ICU. Guruji knows anyway. So, and he asked Usha to describe what was happening to me. So Usha told him that septicemia had, Guruji, like in a typical way, said, septicemia kya hota? Something like that. So, God knows everything, but God has to go through its own acting role, I guess. So Usha described what was happening. Guruji said, कोई बात नहीं, बस उसको नमक और हल्दी उसके मुंह में डाल दे. The next day, Usha came back with some namak and haldi. But she had told Guruji that Guruji, he's on ICU and he's on ventilator. His mouth is always, under a mask, and there are 2-3 nurses there. I can't put anything in his mouth. Guruji said, "नहीं, सब हो जाएगा." So चुपके से कर देना जब कोई नहीं देखे. She didn't realize that चुपके से कैसे होता है, with 3 nurses standing there, with a ventilator, on my mouth. So anyway, she came, and like magic, as soon as she entered the room, like on a cue, she tells me all the nurses left immediately. So she was able to put the haldi and namak in her mouth, and immediately my recovery started. Recovery was again so quick that within a day they got me out of the ICU and put me in a monitoring. Something else had happened actually. When I was on ICU, the cardiologist was on his, they make rounds. So he was on his round with all his equipment and with 2 or 3 other people with him. And then as soon as he hooked me onto whatever they were measuring and they were watching or monitoring, my heart failed. So it was the best time for my heart to fail, because I was already connected to all the equipment that were needed to revive anybody whose heart is not working. And the cardiologist was right there with his free assistance. So anyway, they were able to revive me quickly, and everything was fine. So I was saved there. Then after that, they got me out of the ICU and put me in the regular, not a regular ward, but there's one level above, where you're being monitored. You're not in a standard room, but you're not in ICU. So, and my condition was still not very good because my pulse rate was very low. My pulse rate was about 30, or 35 or something like that. So they were very worried whether, I'll still make it or not. So then somebody told Guruji, Guruji, my pulse rate was so low. Guruji said, that was in Empire State. So Guru said, nahi, uska pulse rate 72 kitta. So just go and call them. So Usha's sister came out and called Usha and said, Guruji is saying that Guruji ne heart rate 0.72 kar diya. So Usha said, no, it is only 30 plus, something like that. She said, no, go and check. So Usha came out, because at that time, if you are not in ICU, the monitoring is done by the nursing station, not in the room. So she came out and looked at the monitor, and sure enough, my heartbeat has suddenly gone up and it was 72. She couldn't believe it. Just like a magic, just, you know, everything went up and became 72. So she called and confirmed that, yeah, everything is good. And slowly everything has happened properly. Everything got tested, kidney, liver, heart, whatever. But the cardiologist still was not convinced that I should leave, because my heart had failed. So they wanted to do angiogram before I could, be put in a regular room. So that, for angiogram, that I was unconscious because I guess that is a standard practice. But as I was regaining my consciousness after angiogram, I could hear the conversation between Dr. Doucet, the cardiologist, and his assistants. And basically, what was happening, he could not believe that I am the same person whose heart had failed in ICU, because now everything was perfect in the heart. He could not believe it was like a young person's heart. He was telling the other people. He said, "Can you check the record again? Can you check the record again? Is this the same MP Singh who's, whatever his name was using, whose heart had failed when we looked at him?" So he could not believe it. So even one of our good friends who is also cardiac surgeon, he was also there, Dr. Manhas. So Dr. Doucet came out, and my wife and her friends were telling me that he was talking to Dr. Manhas, and he was basically so surprised that somebody whose heart had failed was showing no signs of anything except a very full, healthy heart. And of course, how can you tell him, what had happened? It's all Guruji's grace, his blessing. So I guess I can safely say that Guruji gave me a new heart after the second life also. So it's all his blessing, his blessings are infinite. I just don't have words to describe his blessings. I guess I don't deserve much of what he gave me, but he's all compassionate. And, just he's kind. His kindness knows no limits. I think he's probably as kind to, not probably, he's definitely as kind and as benevolent for all of us, because he's told me very clearly, Mahapurushon ki kripa har par barabar. Guruji used to call himself Mahapurush. He never called himself other than Mahapurush. He was very humble. But we are all equally blessed. There is no hierarchy. Nobody is above or below. And so don't ever try to learn anything about Guruji from anybody, and that includes me. Don't learn anything about Guruji from me. You have to make your own direct contact with Guruji. And it's very easy to make contact. Just make time and meditate. That's all. Guruji will teach you whatever you need to be taught. And he'll give you whatever you need to be given. Have full faith and full confidence. Enjoy life. Yeah, Usha is reminding me to tell you a couple more things. Before Guruji had told me who he was, I approached Guruji once, and I wanted to talk to him about Hanumanji because something had happened, and I just said Hanumanji, and words from Guruji were, "Son of Munda, he's my son." So when you read about Lord Hanuman, actually he's avatar of Shiva. So that, I guess that's why Guruji said he's his son. And in Empire State, there were two prints of mother. I think Mother Durga, probably, and Mother Lakshmi. So some one day somebody was asking Guruji about those prints, pointing out there, and Guruji said, "Very betiya." So he's the supreme. There's no one above him, at least in my thinking. Everything comes from him. We could not be more fortunate to have the Supreme as our Sadguru, as our Guru. So just enjoy. It's time to celebrate, I guess. Can't get anything better than that. Life doesn't get any better. Just enjoy, celebrate. Don't be fearful of anything. Don't worry about anything. Just leave everything to Guruji.
I'm so happy. Actually, I really wanted MPG to share his experience for a very long time. And after pleading to him for a very long time, he had shared it on Zoom on the ashram forum. And then I'm very happy and to invite Uncle. He agreed. Because I feel it's very important because Guruji has blessed him with so much understanding. And it's very important to share. Guruji कहते थे कि share करो. I'm sure आज कितने संगत को अपने answers, clear चीजें समझ में आने लगी होंगी. क्योंकि बहुत जरूरी है कि गुरुजी के बारे में हमें बताना चाहिए. कई गलत धारणाएं आ गई हैं, गलत सोच आ गई है. और ये पुरानी संगत जो भी लोग हैं पुरानी नए नहीं है, पर people who have seen Jesus perform, I would say, put it the right way, and to have spent some time, or maybe with Guruji's kripa, because we cannot understand Guruji, nobody can understand Guruji. It can only happen with Guruji's kripa when he really makes you aware of few things that you start realizing it. And जैसे एमपी जी के साथ इतनी एक्सपीरियंसेस हुए. ही इज वेरी हम्बल, बट कहीं भी रहते थे, अगर एयरपोर्ट पर भी रहते थे और अपने बिजनेस ट्रिप के लिए इंडिया भागते थे, मैं बार बार कहती थी आप इंडिया जाते हो, मुझे बुरा लगता है, मैं भी चलूंगी. We had a little son, I had to be home. So he is in the airport in the line for his immigration, and Guruji used to call him and says, "Tu aa gaya?" Nobody told him anything. "Tu aa gaya?" अच्छा, छेती छेती पंजाबी में बोलते हैं, छेती छेती मुझे मालूम नहीं, छेती छेती जल्दी से आ जा, मतलब just come here. So he used to go right there, and sometimes he used to take uncle to, some dhaba for kulha wali chai ke liye. And all those things he has experienced so much. So I always want to think, क्योंकि मेरा तो आप लोगों ने सबने बहुत सुना हुआ है, because I like to share, because that gives me the most joy. That's my most, I feel happiest when I share about Guruji, I would say. And Guruji had himself told me that, Auntie, जिथे जाया करना उथे मेरा सत्संग किया कर, अपना भी कल्याण कर, दूसरे का भी कर. So those were Guruji's instructions for me. That's his hukum for me. So whatever I'm doing is just for his hukum. And because of that, maybe Guruji has said, that's why I find the joy in doing it. Because unless Guruji blesses you, you don't find the joy. आप सत्संग में भी बैठोगे या ध्यान में भी बैठोगे, you won't feel the joy. It has to come within, and we're not capable of finding the joy within ourselves. You're a human. We have so much going on. It can only come with Guruji's kripa. Only when he blesses, we start having ras in satsang. We started having ras in listening to Shabad. We yearn for that quiet time, lonely time, alone time, where we can just sit and connect with them. To Guruji, that's only because that Guruji ने 2 बार एमपी जी को लाइफ दी, और मालूम नहीं कितनी बार दी उन्होंने, कितनी बार गुरुजी हमें आके बचाते हैं, हमें पता भी नहीं चलता है. पर जो उन्होंने इतनी क्लियरली जो दिखाया कि आकर के उन्होंने एक्चुअली एक चीज मैं ऐड करूंगी एमपी जी की, जब वो सर्जरी होनी थी, when Guruji has left his chola, and it was 2007 November में इनकी सर्जरी होनी थी, काफी मेजर सर्जरी थी. And of course as a wife I was worried, और तो मैं गुरुजी को बहुत प्रे करती थी, बिकॉज गुरुजी ने कहा था मेरे से मांगा ना करो, तो मैं मांगती नहीं थी, बस प्रे करती थी, गुरुजी give me strength, Guruji. That's all I used to ask. And in my dream, just 2 days before the surgery, Guruji came in my dream, and he showed me that he's sitting in some mountainous area जहाँ नदी बह रही है, और गुरुजी बैठे हैं, मैं अकेली हूँ, मैं थोड़ी दूर पर बैठी हूँ. And all of a sudden, Guruji does like this, and a silver glass comes in his hand, and it is filled with Amrit. And Guruji drinks a sip, and then he gives it to me and says, "ये तू पी ले, ये uncle की blessing है, मैं तेरे through दे रहा हूँ," something like that he said. And I drink this, and as I'm drinking, I get up. And when I get up, I can even feel that I'm swallowing, and that Amrit was full of Guruji's fragrance, full of fragrance. It was so real that I can never forget that dream. And he said, "Ja, maine bless kar dita Amrit." And I got up and I was so happy. I said, "Guruji, aap khud aaकर के मुझे realize कराया," and it was so real that when Guruji comes, you know that it is him. And किस तरह से गुरुजी ने everything done smoothly and the recovery was beautiful, everything. So he's always around. ऐसा नहीं है कि गुरुजी ने छोड़ा छोड़ दिया है वो कहीं चले गए. He's always around us all the time. He is there in the form of energy, form of light, divine light, in the form of बेवजह की खुशी, जो bliss, जो happiness होती है आपकी लाइफ में. सब गड़बड़ हो रहा होगा फिर भी आपको इतनी excitement होती है चीजों की, it doesn't matter ये कहाँ से आता है. It's not within us, because as human beings we're not capable of being happy really for no reason. You need to have some reason right there to be happy. नहीं तो life is so monotonous and very sad and ये खराब वो खराब, all that happening. But जब गुरुजी को आप realize करते हैं तो वो जो बेवजह की खुशी आती है, it can only come with Guruji's blessings, and that's all. I'm very happy and very, very thankful to Guruji for giving that experience. So many experiences like that. आज छोटा सा भी मैं एमपी जी को बताई थी, आज सत्संग थर्सडे को यहाँ पर होता है. So अभी आज का ही है, फ्रेश. गुरुजी कहते थे फ्रेश from the oven सत्संग सुना. So this just happened. We were getting ready for संगत सियाटल में जो होता है Zoom पर, and all of a sudden मैं अपनी पूजा करके उठी थी तो उसमें प्रसाद में एक बादाम था तो मैंने यही खा लिया प्रसाद आरती के बाद और खा लिया. And I don't know what happened. I was coughing like non-stop. I just could not control myself, like something was going wrong, like I was choking. And I kept drinking water, nothing was happening, and I was really, really in bad shape. That's the time I realized जब choking होती है तो कैसी हालत होती है. And I was in the kitchen getting water, and Guruji Swarup सामने लगा हुआ है इतना बड़ा, and I was just looking at Guruji and saying, "Guruji, I don't know what's happening, मैं क्या करूँ अब?" And can you believe, as I just coughed it out, I could see a big piece of almond that was just in my windpipe. Within a minute, like he made it happen. I mean, even MPG was wondering, because just two of us were home. We are home alone. So he was wondering, क्या हो रहा है? क्यों खांसी आ रही है? So it was just like magic. You just look at Guruji. You don't have to even say anything. Just look at Guruji. Tell me what should I do. That's all. I mean, I must have drank 3-4 glasses of water. Nothing is happening. But it's only Guruji's nazar. It's only his one look that can heal our body, our mind, our soul, everything together. And he makes us realize it's only him. It's only him. He's the one. He's our father, mother, friend, everything. All our relations, just one. In our Sadguru. And when we realize that, there's nothing to worry, there's nothing to fear. Whatever is happening, Guruji gives strength to just cope with it and keep moving on. Life is beautiful. Enjoy it. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji.